All right. Hey everybody, just making a video here. If you're somebody like me that's just wanting to get into mountain biking, or maybe you've dabbled into mountain biking, or you know a couple things. I'm not new to this, but there was some time that went by that I just didn't have a bike and really wanted to kind of get back into it. Anyways, fast forwarding here. If you looked at any other videos, you're probably going to have people telling you to go on to maybe Facebook Marketplace or some sort of market like that, which is great. I've been looking for a while, but the problem that I had was I just didn't really have a set, money aside, which is kind of like, if you're gonna do like a Facebook thing, you're basically gonna need cash on hand, and that was just hard for me. Just had bills and stuff. It was just hard for me to like set money aside. So what I ended up doing was getting this thing right here for 300 bucks. This thing is 300 bucks off a site called Mendham Bikes. Okay, it's discounted. Most likely, it's brand new, obviously, but probably just because they had too much of maybe one size, and they were just trying to kind of, move some stuff. But I'll tell you what, man, this thing for it's a Univega. I'll move the camera here. About this. Just trying to kind of show you guys like the whole freaking thing. It's a Univega. Brand's been around forever. I think this is maybe late model 2024, I'm guessing. I tried to research 2025, but like nothing really seemed to come up except for this bike on their site. I don't know what's going on with that, but once again, for what I paid for this thing, it's got some pretty good stuff on it. Now, once again, I'm not trying to do some crazy downhill stuff. I don't think you guys are trying to do that. Maybe you are. I wouldn't be trying to do some crazy stuff like that. You're going to have to upgrade things on this bike, which I already knew that I was going to do. I just wanted to get something that I could add a couple things to, but maybe be able to do some light, just some like trail riding switchback, stuff like that. So I'm just kind of show you a couple things on here. So you got, full disc brakes, of course. You've got, typical crank setup with, these are just boring plastic pedals. They're light, but they're not great, and I'm definitely going to upgrade those. But elsewhere, you've got all the right stuff that you need, your quick release. Let's go over the fork. You've got a little bit of adjustment here, but not really. This is just like typical, like in my opinion, of what you're pretty much gonna get on a bike like this. I mean, this thing is a Sun Tour. You do have a little bit of like preload here. You're basically dealing with springs, so you can adjust this a little bit. You could get it a little bit better. You do have a lockout, which is kind of cool. That's like, if you're like hill climbing or something, and you've got too much plush, or you're moving too much on the front, you can lock that out. So that's cool. I do like that. What else do we got? Obviously the front brake. I would also recommend, now I know that like I'd probably go with, if you can afford it, probably just like bigger discs, maybe, because I'm gonna tell you, these are not great. They work, but they definitely need like fine-tune adjusting. So I would, recommend, if you're bike savvy, you could probably figure that out and do that. And with any bike that you're getting, of course, you're gonna want to go through with your tools and make sure that all your parts are, tightened and all that kind of stuff. This one out of the box was pretty good. Of course, you do have to put a couple things together. We can go over the handlebars. So you got the handlebar deals. This is kind of cool. I don't see a lot of, I don't know if you can see that. There you go. You can kind of see it. It's got like dips down right here and right here. So you got like a little bit fatter handle grip. That's kind of nice. I kind of enjoyed that. I didn't even know that that was a thing, but I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. You got bar ends. That's good. They're not like amazing, but they work. the color that they have is this. I don't have like the most amazing lighting here. I'm sorry, but you can make this out. It's like basically it's a teal. On my phone, it's coming out a little bit more sky blue, but it's basically teal. It's a teal color, and that's the only color they have. It's not like maybe my favorite color, but like I said, all in all, this bike for what it costs has some good stuff on it. I didn't even go over the wheels. Pretty knobby freaking tires on this thing. Not bad. Just for, you know, you can always upgrade that. Double walled wheels. Definitely like that. It's got aluminum frame, so it's decently, it's not too bad. It's like, I can't remember the exact weight. I'll say like 30 something, 36 maybe, 37, somewhere around there. Something like that. It's really not that bad. So that's, you know, good to keep that in consideration. You know, your weight is crucial. You got a pretty fat, so I can go over this, tapered or head tube. You got some freaking, you know, you got some power here. It looks good. It's, you know, the welds are nice too. So this stuff's is all pretty solid, pretty kind of standard there. I would probably recommend, I know what I'm gonna do also, going back to the brakes here. You know, definitely you're gonna have to mess around with that most likely. Like, they work, but they just don't stop. The stopping power needs to be like just quicker. Like, they just kind of work, but they don't work as well as where I need them to. But once again, you know, here's something kind of cool. Some people like to talk about. You got some of this deal going through the frame, which is really nice. So you have it's just a lot cleaner. You have a lot less damage that could be happening there. So you got one on this side and then this one here on the other side. That's pretty cool. I do like that. Once again, overall, man, this bike's pretty, I mean, dude, for the price. And, oh, what I didn't mention is, the company also has this like thing called like shop pay. So you could basically make payments. And I think there's like two options where you can spread it out over a longer period of time or make a little bit bigger payments in a shorter period of time. So that's a pretty cool thing. It doesn't really affect your credit score or anything like that. So once again, I know it's not crazy, but if you're someone like me and you're just like, hey, I just really want this, but I can't really, like, you know, you're just trying to, you know, you just can't really just, bam, I'm just going to do it all at one time. That's really cool ability to have, so that, you know, you can get something. And once again, you know, if you're like me, you're probably going to be like, okay, this is cool. Let me just, you know, like, get something, put it together, kind of go out there, do some riding, you know. I know I'm going to be doing some more trail stuff. So once again, front forks are going to change out. I need a little bit more travel. You know, I'm probably going to go with like, maybe like something like closer to 5, you know, I don't know, maybe like a 120 millimeter or something like that. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff out there right now for, you know, this level of bike. I'm not trying to put some crazy, you know, look, once again, you could do that if you want to go with some crazy Fox fork or something like that. Once again, when you're looking into that kind of stuff, you kind of want to look a little bit at weight and, you know, be mindful of that kind of stuff. But once again, you don't need to. All in all, this thing's pretty great for what I got it for. It's got a nice, you know, I would say like lower profile frame. And also what was interesting is down here, I'm seeing a lot of frames that do this, where you got your disc brake, but it's mounted like, it's not usually be mounted off the back here or up top, but this is really interesting down here. I'm not sure if I like that or not. I guess I'm just not really used to it, but that's kind of cool. I feel like because of the frame sitting a little bit, like if you crashed, you might get a little damage like here, but like this is going to kind of protect you. So that's kind of cool. I don't know. I guess that's just my opinion. It's kind of weird. I guess the last thing, or one of the last things here I didn't talk about, is the gears. Yes, we have gears on this. And give me one sec here. Right. All right. So you do got, you know, there's what your gear setup looks like. All that kind of neat, fun stuff. So very interesting gear setup that they're doing on these things nowadays. This thing has like this, I don't know how to, like, this chain ring is tripping me out. It's really interesting on why it's set up the way it's set up. You also then have this, you know, they're doing this big like single deal here. Like, that's just kind of weird. I don't know. I'm just not really used to that, but kind of old school. So, but what I think I want to say it's like maybe 8. I think it's an 8 speed. Pretty sure. Maybe 9. I think it's an 8, which also is a little weird. So you don't have all that crazy amount of gears here, but you have all the right ones. You have all the right, in my opinion, something like this, you have all the right amount of gears to be doing. I wouldn't be trying to do a lot of hill climbing, but, you know, once again, for what I'm doing, you know, I'm just going to be doing a lot more just single track type of stuff, you know. And for stuff like that, you don't need, you know, maybe somebody would argue that, but you don't really need, you know, yeah, you need gears, but, you know, you can get away with a setup like this. It'd just be just fine. And look, maybe down the road, you want more gears, you can spend money and, you know, always upgrade that if you need to, or you need more or whatever. But, you know, out of the box, I didn't really have to mess with the gears too much. They're set pretty well, which is really nice, because that could be a pain in the ass. But brakes, once again, yeah, I'm going to have to kind of like look at that and kind of dial those in and that kind of stuff. So, you know, personal preference with this kind of stuff, with what you want to do. I don't know if I mentioned this is a 27.5. Sorry if I didn't, I don't know if I clarified that earlier. So this is going to fit, pan out, just see the whole thing now again. So this bike's really good for somebody like about probably 5, I don't know, like they always kind of give you these, you know, measurements for people, but I'm 5'8", so this bike's like perfect size for me. Someone like 5'6" to maybe 5'10", this would be a pretty good, you know, if you're maybe 5'9", you know, if you're a little taller, if you're like 6'1", you know, you're most likely gonna have a little bit longer legs, maybe a little longer torso, and a 29-inch at that point for you probably be really, really good. But for me and someone that's, you know, 5'7", 5'8", somewhere around my height, I'm telling you guys, this bike, band's perfect freaking size. It's light. You can whip it around. I even have my seat a little low right now, but, you know, once again, just wanted to do a quick thing here. Like I said, Menheim Bikes, you can just look it up. I think they're out of like New York, New Jersey, or something like that. Yeah, as of today of making this video, they still have some on the website. Free shipping, so it's about $300, and yeah, free shipping. I got mine pretty quick, which is pretty rad, so I highly recommend checking out that. I hope that this helps somebody. Once again, I was just stuck looking around for a long period of time. Yes, I did find some other bikes, you know, a lot of bikes that you might see. You know, I guess that could be relative, and also where you're living. I live in Maryland, so I was seeing quite a few, you know, some pretty good deals. You know, there's some GTs on there and older things, and there's some good stuff. I'm not going to say that there isn't, but once again, if you're kind of on a budget and you're like, man, I can't really go give this guy, you know, $250 or whatever that, you know, they're asking, this could be a great option. Once again, you could do the shop pay thing, so you don't need to pay everything, you know, outright. So once again, Menheim Bikes, you can look them up on the internet. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hope this helps someone.